Leonardo Trossard to Vinicius Junior. I mean, yeah.
What does it mean for Arsenal, though? It means that Arsenal are really, really interested in bringing Vinicius Junior to the Premier League if a deal can be done. Mikel Arteta and Berta, huge fans of Vinicius Junior, and because he's got that year left, it does mean that there is a possibility on the table where it could be done.
Arsenal fans, stop everything, because this is the biggest transfer of the summer. Vinicius Junior to Arsenal. Yes, that Vinicius Junior. Reports are now exploding that Arsenal are seriously being linked with one of the most dangerous attackers in world football, and this is not the kind of story that appears by accident. Mikel Arteta wants a superstar. Andrea Berta is working quietly behind the scenes, and somewhere between Madrid and London, a very big decision is being discussed. Real Madrid are under pressure, Arsenal are pushing, and if this story develops the way some people believe it could, then the next 48 hours may tell us everything. If this really happens, Arsenal are not just making a signing, they are making a statement. Today, we begin with one of the most extraordinary transfer stories of the summer, because Vinicius Junior, in an Arsenal shirt, is no longer just the sort of thing supporters daydream about on social media. It is a conversation that is now being backed by real reporting, real contact, and a real situation at Real Madrid that has every major club in Europe watching very closely. And Arsenal need to be right there at the front of that queue. Now, let us be absolutely clear from the outset. There is no official agreement between Arsenal and Vinicius Junior. No bid has been announced. No deal has been completed. No one is claiming this transfer is done. But what has changed dramatically is the situation around the player himself. Because according to the latest reporting, Real Madrid have delivered Vinicius a very direct message: sign a new contract, or be prepared to move on. That is the real headline here. That is what has changed the entire mood around this story. For years, Vinicius Junior has been treated as one of the untouchable figures at the Santiago Bernabeu, one of the cornerstones of the next era. A Champions League match winner, a player capable of deciding the biggest nights in European football. A winger with speed, flair, confidence, and the kind of mentality that very few defenders can cope with. But now, contract talks have created uncertainty. And in football, uncertainty is where opportunity begins. Stay with us, because over the next few minutes, we are going to break down exactly why this situation matters, why Arsenal are being kept informed, why the timing of this could become crucial, and what it would actually mean if a player of Vinicius Junior's level became available. Because this is not a normal transfer story. This is the type of story that can change the direction of a club's entire project. And Arsenal know it. Real Madrid's ultimatum changes everything. Foams. The most important detail in this entire situation is simple. Real Madrid are not pretending everything is fine. They are not offering soft reassurances. They are not drifting along hoping the issue resolves itself. Instead, the message from the club appears to be clear: renew the contract, or the market opens up. That is a strong position. And it tells you just how seriously Real Madrid are taking the risk. Because if Vinicius Junior enters the final year of his deal, and there is still no agreement in place, the club face one of the biggest nightmares in modern football. The risk of losing an elite player for a reduced fee later, or worse, allowing him to approach free agency. For a club like Real Madrid, that is the sort of outcome they simply do not accept lightly. So the pressure is building on both sides. Real Madrid want clarity. Vinicius wants to be rewarded properly. And the clock is now part of the story. That is why this has suddenly become so interesting for clubs like Arsenal. Why Arsenal are paying attention? Arsenal are not being linked with Vinicius Junior because somebody wants clicks on a quiet afternoon. They are being mentioned because they are one of the clubs being kept informed as the situation develops. That is the important distinction. It does not mean Arsenal have submitted a bid. It does not mean they are leading the race. And it does not mean the player is close to leaving Madrid. What it does mean is that Arsenal's recruitment side are doing their job properly. They are watching. They are monitoring. They are making sure they are ready if the situation escalates. And that is exactly how elite clubs should behave when a world-class player becomes even remotely available. Because if a player like Vinicius Jr. truly enters the market, there will not be a long warning period. Everything would move quickly. The money would be enormous,